This week, Steve is still adventuring out west, while Alix makes progress back home. Last week, he finished up the hanging knees restored from Victoria. This week, it's on to the lodging knees, cut out from the black locust pile.
That looks pretty good.
Just a few more tasks, and then when Steve gets back, it's on to work on the housetop.
Sand that puppy down. Alright, before I go and sand this thing down, which I've already cut, I got this one from the other side, and I'm just going to line up more or less where that corner to the shelf is, and this edge here, and that should give me a very similar shape. It looks like they're very close to each other, only a little bit more on the end of this one. But then I'm going to mark this shape. And that way they'll at least resemble each other on both sides. So, let's cut this one out, and then we can work on sanding them down, and hopefully this evening we can get them both sealed, and then tomorrow morning, first thing, we'll throw a coat of epoxy on it, let it dry for the day, throw another coat on there, and then while that's all happening, I can work on a couple of the joints, the Carlin joints, and work on making some longer rivets so that they can be bolted in. And if we can get that done, then I can launch into doing the rest of the short beams. And our plan is to get that all done before Steve gets back so that we can launch into the housetop while the weather is still not super cold, but you know, warm enough to get into doing that. And that way we can move on to some fun stuff. Woo! All right, got the lodging knees all sealed and varnished, and so you can see they're gonna go right in here. So now I need to make some rivets that are gonna go through here, and obviously our planking rivets are not long enough. So I gotta fabricate some that are the correct length. We'll get those installed, and then I'm gonna spend a very long time putting in all of these short beams. So I'm gonna have to cut all the joints for here. So I'm gonna get this thing installed and throw on some tunes or a podcast and just crank down both sides of the cabin house and try to get those done before Steve gets back. All right, now that we got those knocked in, I'm gonna go in and get Anne and have her back these for me and see if I can peen over the other side and lock these guys in. Another day, another task. So yesterday, Anne and I managed to get the knees all put in place and riveted together. There were a couple setbacks with that made it so that it took me a little bit longer than expected. One, I was working on this knee and as you can see it cracked through here. Probably had to do with my technique on the joiner. I tried to take a bit of a too big of a bite and that kicked back on me. Luckily I was being safe. I'm fine. The other thing is making the copper rivets. We made the hole a little bit larger than our 1/4 inch rivets. So just so everybody knows, a 64th larger is not enough for them to drive that far in. They started bending over on me, so I needed to drive them back out and figure out a bigger opening for them. And once they went in, that was perfectly fine. So Anne helped me to back those and I peened those over. So those look great and I'm so excited. So today I'm gonna lock them in place on the shelf. I just need to drill in a couple of holes for the 5/8 bolts that are gonna clamp them to the shelf. And then I'm gonna spend the rest of the day working on joints for all the short beams that you can see down there. So I just have one in place over here. The rest of them are almost to their final sand that Steve had done a little while ago. So I'm gonna get them to fit, and once they fit, we're gonna give them a 220 sand and seal all those and get ready to install those. So I've got the house wolf in here with me. It's actually pretty balmy out today, so it's gonna be a nice day. So let's get to work. I don't think that's going anywhere.
No! Come on. Big old beetle. There you go.
Come near me with this thing and you will see how hard I swing.
Yesterday turned into a little bit of an epic. We made it down the Scree Gully just fine, and then we got lower and we were told that there was probably some sort of trail. We really couldn't find much info. We found some old cairns, but there was no trail. So we did like a 2 or 3 hour bushwhack through. Oh man, the nastiest, gnarliest terrain that I have ever dealt with. Thankfully we had chaps. If we didn't have chaps to be able to kind of wade through the thorns and the cacti, I think we would have had to reverse and go back up and back across and down. I don't think we would have made it. It was a bit of a suffer fest. But we have a really good idea of what the north end of the range looks like and what to expect up there. I feel a lot better about, you know, attempting a traverse at a later date, have some more information. So now we're back up to the saddle where we were a couple days ago, and we're gonna head up onto the south end of the range and just kind of see how far north we can get today and put together some more pieces of the puzzle. This range is really cool. It's super steep and really broken and a heck of a lot of fun, but route finding and navigating through it is really tough. And I think had we just packed up the bags and gone for it, we would have ended up bailing. It's just the first ascensionists, they wrote it up and they made it sound like a bit of an epic, but man, kudos to those guys. It's no joke. So we've been having a great time. It's been really fun just kind of romping around and exploring. So we're gonna go explore the south end of the range here today for a bit, and then I think tomorrow we're gonna take a rest day and then go clip some bolts on some steep sport routes and just kind of chill and relax for a bit. Enjoy the rest of the time here out in the desert. So gonna keep on climbing. All right, on another summit. The view is pretty horrible. What you got there, Robin?
A ladybug. There's so many of them.
So we're way up on a peak here, and I noticed this thing down on the ridge a little bit, and I scrambled down to it. And I want to know if any of you have any idea what this is. So it's got a concrete base, and this is obviously a cooking pot that somebody modified with some electronics. No idea what this is about. And then there's a bunch of pieces of PVC, some chunks of metal. No idea what this thing is. It's got like a big spring kind of thing in there, some circuits. And then there's this, which just says LAR on it. And we've got that on the back. And some chunks of PVC. And this thing. So I don't know. Our guess is some sort of military thing, or I don't know. I don't think the military would be using an old cooking pot. Maybe some sort of data. I mean, I want to know who the heck carried this chunk of concrete up here. Maybe it got flown up here. I don't know. If any of you know what this device may be and who would have put it here, I'd be very curious to know. Some odd stuff up here in the mountains. So Robin and I took like a, I don't know, 60-foot 5'2" free solo to get up to the top. We definitely went the wrong way. And this is apparently the right way. And there's a rope strung here.
This is the right way.
And yeah, you pretty much belay yourself down. It's like a handheld rappel. It's pretty steep. A fall here would definitely send you to the hospital, which is a long ways away.
Thank God for upper body. I am just locked off on everything right now. Damn!
Nice.
Wow. That was a thing.
Okay. Into the mountains we go.
Wow. That is spectacular. It's like we're in a whole other landscape.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like we're in the desert anymore.
No. Yeah, wait till we drop down into the canyon. It's really cool. It's beautiful. Last couple days, Robin and I have been climbing on this bad boy and some of the shorter walls around it. And we left this route on top rope yesterday. Robin put the draws up and we played on that for a bit. So we're gonna get warmed up on it today. We're just gonna kind of climb and hang and climb and hang and just shake out the muscles and get warmed up for the climbing. The sun's like just starting to come around and warm up. It's still pretty chilly. And then I think after we're both warmed up and feeling well, Robin wants to see if she can fire it on lead because she fell once on it yesterday. So we'll see if she can get it cleaned today. And then we're gonna head off and get on some more stuff. But we're gonna get the camera set up and we're gonna get to playing. This route's a lot of fun. There you go. Nice.
Now my feet. Pocket here. Oh. Oh, dude!
Good job. Way to stay with it.
Nice. Nice. There it is. Yeah. Nice. Give me a jog. Oh, this is hard, babe.
Yeah, it is hard. We got a couple big jugs coming up soon. Just keep fighting. Go up left hand and grab the telephone.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You're gonna love it.
Oh. All right, you can take hard there. That's hard. I don't know if I could do that off the ground.
Yeah, I mean I got into somewhere around there is when I popped off.
Yeah. I'm just pumped.
Well, time has come. I've got to leave this really enchanted place. So we got to climb up and out that crazy dirt road that we came in, and we'll camp somewhere on the other side of that tonight. And tomorrow we got to make our way south and get ready for the plane. We got to get the truck washed and returned. We got to pack all the gear. So it is time to head back. Robin's got work to do, and I've got a boat to build. So it's been amazing. This is my second time here, and hands down way better than the first. I had a grand time. The roots on that rig are awesome. Can't recommend them enough, and I'll be back. There's a lot of stuff in that tower I would really like to do. So we've been driving along, and I've been seeing these nests in the trees, and I saw a big one, so we pulled over to check it out. Whoo-wee! Look at these thorns. Everything here is vicious. But check out that woven nest. It's huge. And it's pretty firm. And don't worry, it is the very wrong time of year for nesting birds, so I am quite sure that this is vacant and we are not upsetting anybody. But it's just all tightly woven grass. There's a bunch of feathers in there. Some looks to be kind of like thistledown. It's pretty cool. You don't see this kind of bird nest in the Northeast. This would not last. It is incredibly bright out here. Hardly a cloud in the sky and pure white sand. It's amazingly cool in there.
This is wild.
One of the best ways I've heard someone describe this project that we're on is an adventure through boat building, and that is pretty spot on. I love adventure. I love the challenge of the unknown. I love trying something that I'm not sure that I can do, and building the boat fits really well into that vein. It is definitely an adventure, figuring all this out and doing it for the first time. And I get asked fairly frequently, like how we keep up the motivation, how we can come out here and work day after day, week after week, year after year towards the same goal. And the answer for me in a lot of ways is one, I love building the boat. But two, I am so incredibly excited for the doors that open up when the boat is done. So I live for adventure, and the kind of adventure that a lot of people don't like. Like, it's a lot of what we call type 2 fun. So type 1 fun, it's fun when you're doing it, and it's fun when you look back. Type 2 fun is not fun when you're doing it, and it's fun when you look back. And type 3 fun is not fun when you're doing it, and it's not fun when you look back. And my favorite kinds of fun really are type 2 and type 3 fun. I've spent a lot of time doing big trips in the mountains and in rivers and out in sea kayaks and underground spelunking. I've done most of it to one degree or another, and I've just wanted to go do more. I love the remote places. I love just the being on your own. When you're out there, like, there's no easy button to get out. There's no quick and simple rescue. Like, you're on your own. And whatever you get into, you gotta get out of. And I love that. I live for it. It's when I absolutely feel the most alive. So for me, like, Arabella is kind of the prologue, believe it or not. Like, once she's built, to me, the real adventure begins. And I will certainly work on boats. I will maintain Arabella. If Alix decides that he wants to restore or build a boat, I will absolutely help him do it. But I'm never going to be a shipwright. That is not my goal. That is not my objective. So when the boat's done, that's going to be my jam, is to go on trips like this and go do wild things in wild places. And I absolutely love it. Like, bring on the sufferfest. And this trip certainly had some sufferfests. Coming out of one of the canyons, we did some serious cacti, thorn-laden bushwhacking that was really epic. I've still got thorns that are working their way out of my body from that one. Climbing sport routes in the high desert that we don't know. We don't know what the moves are. I don't know how well it's bolted. You just kind of got to get on it and start climbing and figure it out as you go. And it is so much fun. And Robin seems to be pretty psyched to keep on doing some adventures. So I think we're going to let the winter kind of settle in here and get some snow and get some cold. And I think her and I are going to take off around the new year and go do some another trip a bit shorter than this one and a little bit more local, but go get out in the mountains and play in the snow. And we'll see what comes after that. So I think as we continue the build, it's going to be mentally a good thing for me to get out on these ventures a little bit. I've definitely put that whole side of my life just on the back burner and on hold while we've been building the boat, and I'd like to get back into it a little bit. And then once the boat's done, it is full bore. Here we go. Buckle up, Buttercup, because it's going to get wild. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. So when people ask, like, how we just keep chugging, it's that dream. It's that getting the boat done and knowing that I can load her up with stores and head anywhere I want and climb anything I want, paddle anything I want, that we have an adventure vehicle that will go wherever. And I'm looking forward to doing those adventures, because that for me is what life is all about. I really can't wait.
Next week, we'll finish up all the notches on the short beams for the house carlins. And then the boat building adventure continues. Thanks as always for going on the ride with us, today and every week. Hit that subscribe button for us if you haven't already, and we'll see you each Friday morning with a new video. See you next time.